This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Take me down to the river where the peace won't run dry. Gather round at the river where my soul comes to life and I come alive. Freedom, freedom, freedom for my body, soul, and mind. Freedom, freedom, here at the river where I leave it all behind. Oh,
Intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, you know it. I know it. We all kind of talk about it. The host has never mattered. It's everything else in between that seems to be an issue. Anyways, how are you? How has the last 24 hours been? I always ask that question because I think it's important. Things can change so dramatically in such a short period of time. You know, I could be there, I could be here, I could be everywhere, or we could have a whole cluster where things are not working in the way that they're supposed to work, which we kind of know that seems to be the thing. Anyway, so sorry about the people that were hanging out yesterday trying to get a video stream action and ended up not getting much of anything, but those are the things that end up taking place. But hopefully we were able to fix it in time for you to get whatever you needed out of it. No, I say that seriously. So anyways, let's talk about this real quick. Today is Thursday, October the 5th of 2023, day 278th of the year, and only 87 days left to go. Oh, before I forget, it's Marie Peters' birthday, or should it be Perez at this point? Happy birthday, by the way. So there you go. 87 days remaining to go. We are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM and hanging out with our friends and colleagues at that other place.
Radio in USA, Canada, UK.
Yep, just kind of the way that it goes, hanging out, doing our thingo. So listen, if you want to interact with the show, it's a simple process. All you have to do is go to callinradio.com. You know, I was actually having a conversation yesterday with a sponsor about just doing a hard line. Yeah, a hard line in, you know, just a straight phone number. Because some people get antsy that there's not a direct phone number. They have to go to a website. It's too confusing. The messaging thing, it seems to be fine, but it's the phone call aspect that drives them all crazy, or not the lack of direct phone calling. I mean, it happens. So listen, interacting with the show, callinradio.com. We are a show that talks about safety in the news and safety most of the times. And then we talk about some other random shit as it's going on. It's the truth. It's the truth. My brain is all over the place. Because I look and then it changes. We look and then it changes. We look and then it goes. It's kind of what happens around here. No doubt about it. So there you go. There you go, Zo. So some stuff going on today. We need to talk about all that kind of fun stuff. So why don't we start talking right away about what the hell was trending in the overnight? So
here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so in taking a look at the trends of the ends of the yen, Elon Musk lawyers are keeping busy amid multiple lawsuits, and some Wisconsin moms band together. We'll talk about that. Travis Kelce wants the NFL to cool it when it comes to his new relationship, and another woman has come forward with allegations against Harvey Weinstein. Drew Barrymore and Kelly Clarkson are ready to get back to work, but will it happen? We'll talk about that as we get into casting call. And then we'll talk about the stuff that is going on around in the world of the news, and we'll talk about the stuff that is happening inside of the world of safety. By the way, I have to make reference to this because I don't do this a lot. Was taking a listen to some safety forwards yesterday. It had to be the one from, I believe it was, listening to it yesterday, probably was the one from the 3rd. You know, I have to tell you, Posel is killing it at night in regards of what he's doing, just in regards of some of the stuff that he's talking about. You know, he's still Posel. I mean, he still goes all over the place with things, but that's cool. But, man, just the guy going out there. I mean, I don't know about the art project stuff, but, I mean, that was going on. But you should take a listen to Safety Wars if you haven't listened to it in some time, as it does come in live every night here on this thing. But listen, there's a whole plethora of different shows that are on this station or on our podcast network, or wherever you want to take a look at. But if you are looking for, we'll call them the Safety Rambles, I think between his show and this show, you got some rambling going on. And listen, there are some really well put together stuff that's on here. I mean, you listen to the pre-accident investigation, you listen to some stuff from the Hop Nerd, you take a listen to Blaine J. Hoffman, and you know that these things are constructed well in regards to what's going on. I mean, you listen to somebody like Blaine J. Hoffman, and I'm sitting there going, oh my God, I must be the dumbest guy in the room after listening to that guy talk. And I'm not saying that jokingly or saying that meanly. I mean, I just take a look at some of the stuff that's going on with Blaine and the safety pro. And it's just amazing in some of the stuff that's going on. But I mean, there's so many things I know that I'm going to leave people out because we have like 18 shows on this network. And I'm just always amazed on the stuff that's get put together in regards to what the people are doing. So take a listen around if you haven't done so in some time. Podcast network and radio station. All you have to do is to get to any of it, go to safetyfm.com. Yeah, sorry about that. Plug away. But I just think it's so interesting just listening to some of the stuff that people are doing. And I was just kind of really impressed with what Posel was doing a few nights ago, just what's going on. I would love to sit around and tell everybody that I listened to all of their shows as they put them out, but I'd be lying to you. We forget sometimes to even mention the safetyfm.uk stuff. And I mean, safetyfm.uk, it's just, it's amazing some of the things that are going on that side of the planet. And let's not forget that we also have Brent Sutton coming into some of the stuff that's going on over there, where he's not in the UK, but still doing some of the stuff in regards of what is going on. No doubt about that. Anyways, I felt like I rambled too long there in regards of talking about some stuff. But with that being said, why don't we talk about some things that are going on inside of the world of the news? Because I think that that's going to be important for you, for me, for some, for none, for everyone that is hanging around. So, over there at the news desk, I got some Trey Thomas waiting for you in regards of what is going on. So, why don't we do the news right now?
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Trey Thomas. House Republicans are scrambling to find a new speaker after Kevin McCarthy was voted out of the role this week. More from Mark Mayfield.
Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan and House Majority Leader Steve Scalise of Louisiana both launched their bids on Wednesday. Oklahoma Congressman Kevin Hern is also considered to be a likely contender. All three members made their pitch to the Texas delegation Wednesday morning, which is the largest in the Republican conference. Some conservative members have also floated Donald Trump for the job. The former president told reporters he'll do whatever is best for the country, but said he's focused on becoming president. The House is currently on recess, and a speaker election is set for next Wednesday.
President Biden plans to soon deliver a major speech on the importance of supporting Ukraine in its war with Russia.
This has been a valuable exercise for the United States of America to increase the support we have around the world.
Biden told reporters at the White House Wednesday he'll make the argument it's overwhelmingly in the interest of the U.S. that Ukraine succeed. A memorial service for late California Senator Dianne Feinstein is set for Thursday in San Francisco.
There will be a fitting celebration of her life. We anticipate the Vice President Kamala Harris, our current California senators.
Feinstein, who was the longest-serving female senator in U.S. history, died last week at the age of 90. President Biden's dog, Commander, is no longer living at the White House. The 2-year-old German Shepherd has a history of biting Secret Service agents and those working at the president's home. On Wednesday, CNN reported the dog is no longer living in the White House as the president and First Lady decide where the best place for him is. You're listening to NBC News Radio.
More sarcasm than a Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. The US says it sent over 1 million bullets to Ukraine's military, which were seized from Iran. Several parts of Southeast Asia are blanketed in smog caused by forest fires. Extra judges and bureaucrats will be appointed to clear a backlog of protection visa claims as part of reforms of the Australian migration system, and Donald Trump's indicated he's not interested in becoming the next Speaker of the US House of Representatives.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
Patients across the country may be impacted by the strike against Kaiser Permanente. Caroline Lucas is the executive director of the Coalition of Unions for Kaiser. She says the strike is a last resort decision and absolutely necessary.
At this point, it would be unethical to continue to allow patients to believe that they are showing up to hospitals and clinics that are fully staffed and fully functioning.
75,000 workers across the country walked off the job at 6 a.m. Wednesday. A deepening migration crisis in Central Europe has prompted Slovakia's neighbors to impose border checks to stem the flow of illegal migrants. Pablo Gutierrez reports the temporary measures by Austria, Poland, and the Czech Republic will last for 10 days.
Slovakia has now reinstated border controls along its border with Hungary. Slovakia has become a transit point for illegal migrants wanting to get to Western Europe. Slovakia has witnessed a substantial rise in migrant numbers, with 39,688 migrants registered from the beginning of the year until October 1st, 11 times more than the previous year.
Facing discrimination could lead to an increased risk of obesity. That's according to a new study published in the journal Nature Mental Health. Researchers found that those who experienced discrimination had their appetite stimulated, increasing cravings for less healthy foods. That led to stress-related weight gain. The 2030 World Cup will be played in 6 countries across 3 continents. Morocco, Spain, and Portugal will be the official co-host of the tournament. Meanwhile, FIFA awarded the 3 opening matches to Argentina, Paraguay, and Uruguay in honor of the 100th anniversary of the World Cup. Uruguay hosted the first ever World Cup in 1930, where it beat Argentina. You're listening to NBC News Radio.
Listen to our host
of the Rated R Safety Show.
Self-implode on our airwaves, only on Safety FM.
Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service, anything from inspecting the loss site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
Hey, Dad, your prescription will be ready in just a minute. Hey, Dad, your laundry will be ready in just a minute. Dad, your lunch will be ready in just a minute.
Hey, honey, why don't you take a minute? When you help care for a loved one, you give them as much time as you can, making sure they're safe and comfortable. But it's just as important that you take some time for yourself. At AARP, we can help with information and useful tips on how you can maintain a healthy life balance, care for your own physical and mental well-being, and manage the challenges of caring for a loved one. Because the better care you take of yourself, the better care you can provide for your loved one.
Thanks, Dad.
Thank you. You're there for them. We're here for you. Find free care guides to support you and your loved one at aarp.org/caregiving. That's aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
All right, class. Let's hear what everyone did this weekend. Jill?
Well, I raised my older sister to a big oak tree. It was at least 100 years old. My mom said I must have set a record or something. And then we went down by a stream and perched up on this huge rock and saw all of these little minnows swimming around way below us. And then I rescued my little brother from an evil slug king who was guarding him at the bush fortress. And my sister and I brought him back to our super twig fort for safety. And then we all laid out and told stories until it got dark. And the Big Dipper led us all the way home.
Wow, awesome. Where were you, Jill?
Yeah. We went to the forest. It's not that far away. Anyone want to come this weekend?
Ask your parents to take you and your friends to the forest this week and find the fun, adventurous you. It's closer than you think. Check out discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobile.io. That's mobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Okay, here we are hanging out 18 minutes past the top of the hour as we are enjoying this lovely Thursday. That is for sure. You are still listening to the Rated R Safety Show, just in case you're wondering where the hell you're located. Anyway, so 9 women and 3 men have been seated in the jury to decide Sam Bankman-Fried's fate. The judge overseeing the case, Lewis Kaplan, is the same one who was assigned to E. Jean Carroll's defamation suit against the president, Donald Trump. To prove that the fraud charges, prosecutors will need to show that SBF intentionally, biked customers out of their money. His defense attorney used the opening statements to paint him as a well-intentioned kid trying to figure out as he went on. After the business of the day, SBF's lawyers told the judge that their client wasn't getting the proper dosage of Adderall while in jail to treat his ADHD. The judge said that he should have already been this had already been addressed, which sounds like SBF will get the meds. So we'll have to take a look at some of the things that are going on inside of the world, though. That is for sure. So there you go. Anyways, in September of 2021, Los Angeles area man Zacic Jovanic rented his guest house as an Airbnb to a long-term guest who booked the accommodations for 6 months. That's 187 nights to be exact. The guest, named Elizabeth Hirschon, formally ended her stay in March of 2022, but still hasn't left. Hirschon is extorting Zacic for $100,000 to relocate, as the municipal government says that there isn't nothing that can be done about it. Catch-22, of course, is because, they didn't get the permit to rent to the guest house and built the shower inside without pulling the proper permits. He's technically not protected by any laws. Apparently, in Los Angeles, he has no legal resources to enter the unit to properly get everything up to code, and without everything permitted and up to code, he can't get an enforceable eviction from the city. Well, that's the whole story. So there's a whole story if you want to. You can go to LA Times. In regards to getting the additional information. I mean, what a cluster. Could you imagine that? Okay, somebody rented the place for 187 nights. Cool. That's great. Now they've never left. Makes it an interesting time. There is no doubt about that. Anyway, there's an online advertising company in Florida called X Social Media LLC, and since 2016, it has owned the trademark for the name X Social Media. The company is being sued by Elon Musk's X Corp. The company that owns the social media platform X, formerly known as Twitter, is in the suit against X Social Media. Alleges that X Corp, the name, caused them to lose revenue and incur fees to rebrand to distinguish themselves from the platform. One legal expert tells Tech to The Verge that is because there are so many trademarks that include the letter X that advertising companies probably doesn't have a strong case. This is, of course, like I said, via The Verge. The Verge, The Verge, The Verge, as we are talking. So with that being said, speaking of lawsuits involving Elon Musk, his former partner Grimes is suing him for partial custody of their youngest son. The couple never went public with the existence of the newest child, who was born earlier this year and called Tao for short. But Walter Isaacson revealed that the baby's existence as part of the reporting of the biography of Musk. Musk and Grimes were never married, but share 3 children. Grimes is alleging that Musk is not letting her see him, so meaning the child, not Musk himself. So what do you think? I mean, what is up with all the kids? I mean, good for you. I mean, but man, that's a lot of kids. I mean, I think of Nick Cannon right away. I know.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
I know, entertainment and the stuff that I do, it kind of makes it one of those very interesting things for sure. Sometimes a community temporarily loses electricity during a routine maintenance power lines, or those lose power because there's their naked guy climbing the tower and the police have to get him down. Exactly what happened on Tuesday when law enforcement in Winston-Salem, North Carolina area called after locals reported an incident of exposure and indecency. The unnamed man had climbed a giant power tower buck naked. They determined that it wasn't some bizarre stunt to protest. The man was suffering from mental issues. Fortunately, he was co-host down and taken into evaluation treatment. And I was going to make some kind of weird reference of, hey, the guy had issues, blah, blah. He was unidentifiable because he didn't have an ID. Where was he going to put it?
Who truly cares what this guy has to say? Who gives a shit? Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so take a listen to this one because this one might be interesting for you. An army of moms in Wisconsin took their school district bus issues into their own hands and decided to drive their buses themselves. Since the pandemic, districts across the country have faced shortages when it comes to having enough bus drivers to get the kids from and to the school, leaving parents to figure out a solution, which it was the moms did. One of the moms told the local ABC affiliate WTMJ that driving a bus affords her not only a paycheck, but also allows the ease to bring her newborn daughter to work with her. Numbers don't lie. Wisconsin, 92% of the districts face a shortage prior to the 2023 to 2024 school year. 30%, which were severely understaffed when it comes to bus drivers. So there you go. I guess when it matters, you just kind of take it into your own hand and go from there. I mean, that's what it sounds like to me. What do you think? Did she do the right thing, wrong thing? Was there even a wrong thing to do? I'm just asking, because it seems like an interesting thing, because most people would not come up with that. I mean, I would have sat here for a long period of time and never come to the idea of, hey, why don't we just drive the buses ourselves? I mean, it makes sense when you really start thinking about it of, hey, if there's anything that there is a shortage for and it is something that you're able to do, why turn it down? I mean, think about it for a moment. What else would you do? I don't know. So some stuff to think about. So anyways, we are currently 25 minutes past the top of the hour. Why don't we do this? Why don't bring in some Aaron Royale where we can talk about some money matters.
Often known as the forgotten generation, problems faced by those in their 40s and 50s cannot be ignored. Rebecca Hughes has the story.
Regardless of race, gender, marital status, or income, Gen Xers are failing to meet their targets for retirement savings, according to a new report from the National Institute of Retirement Security. Experts say multiple financial struggles during their lifetime include wages not even remotely keeping up with inflation. Data from 2012 analyzed by Pew Research shows millennials had higher 401k balances than Gen Xers at their same age.
Ford Motor Company and General Motors is laying off an additional 500 employees as the UAW strike continues. Courtney Hairston, manager of the GM AC Delco plant, says a historic offer is on the table for what his workers are looking for.
The concerns from our hourly employees, right? Historic wages increases, job security have been the top issues that I've heard from my membership.
About 200 people work at the AC Delco plant in Memphis, but auto workers are already facing the consequences around the country. Ford is laying off 330 workers in Chicago and Ohio at their factories. GM says 164 workers are being furloughed at its metal centers in Indiana and Ohio. Thousands of healthcare workers at Kaiser Permanente hospitals are now on strike. Picketing began Wednesday morning at hospitals in California, Colorado, Oregon, Virginia, and Washington, where about 75,000 healthcare workers are demanding better wages and more staffing. The unions representing the workers say understaffing at the hospitals is boosting their profits but hurting patients and causing employee burnout. The workers are also calling for a $25 an hour minimum wage. The strike has been approved for 3 days. Chipotle is testing a new automation system that makes burrito bowls and salads. The company says robots assemble the meals for customers who placed orders through the Chipotle app. This is not the first time the fast food restaurant has explored robotic assembly. Chippy, the robot, was initially tested at a restaurant in California last year and successfully demonstrated its ability to make tortilla chips. With consumer and business news, Aaron Royale, NBC News Radio.
Okay, thank you, Aaron, for that information right there on what exactly is going on. The Dow added about 127 points to close at 33,129 on Wednesday. The S&P was up 34 points to close at 4,263, and the NASDAQ increased by 176 points to close at 13,236. West Texas Intermediate cooled at $84 a barrel, and Brent crude was at $86 a barrel. The national average price of a gallon of gas was $3.78 on Wednesday, and Bitcoin ticked up on Wednesday over 1%, trading at 27,700. There was more than 1,933 flights delayed within, into, and out of the United States on Wednesday. And let's see, more than 345 such cancellations. So there you go. There you go. Friday night's Mega Million drawing will be for $350 million jackpot or $155.9 million cash payout. So if you want to play the game, you have the opportunity of doing so. There is no doubt about that. So there you go. Some information for you as we are hanging and banging here, talking a little bit about everything. No doubt so. Anyways, take a listen to this. The head of Homeland Security is calling for construction of the border wall in parts of Texas. Mark Mayfield has the story.
Fox News says DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas is citing an acute and immediate need to waive dozens of federal laws to build a border wall in parts of Texas where illegal migration has surged recently. The announcement, published in the Federal Register, calls for border wall construction in Starr County along the Rio Grande, where the Biden administration says there is a high illegal entry. I'm Mark Mayfield.
So there you go. Some things to think about as we are talking. Take a listen to this one. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is planning to visit the southern U.S. border in order to witness the migrant crisis firsthand. Johnson says that he needs to assess the situation, but didn't specify when or where he will be making the trip to.
We still have public safety that we have to address. We still have the unhoused that we have to address. I still have a budget that I have to address. And I'm doing all of that with a black wife raising 3 black children on the west side of the city of Chicago. I am going to the border as soon as possible.
The announcement comes as Texas continues to send a busload of migrants to Chicago on a daily basis. Johnson urged the federal government to provide support to help with the situation. So there you go. Police are now investigating a shooting outside of a high school in North Hills as a possible hate crime. LAPD Deputies Chief Alan Hamilton says there was an argument before the shooting.
After those words were exchanged, the suspect produced a handgun and fired rounds at the victims. And one of the victims, the driver of the vehicle, was struck and transported himself to the hospital.
Detectives believe that Monday's shooting outside of Albert Einstein High School says that they've been racially motivated. A man allegedly used racial slurs before shooting a 16-year-old student who was getting into a car. The student was shot in the arm and face and is in stable condition. The gunman is still on the loose. Hamilton says that the suspect was hit by a car after opening fire.
In the course of transporting himself, he struck the suspect with his vehicle, and that suspect then eventually ran from the location.
So there you go. A lot of interesting stuff coming out of that one, no doubt about that. Facing discrimination could lead to an increased risk of obesity. Yeah, take a listen to this one.
That's according to a new study published in the journal Nature Mental Health. Researchers found that those who experienced discrimination had their appetite stimulated, increasing cravings for less healthy foods. That led to stress-related weight gain. I'm Trey Thomas.
Think about that. Stress-related weight gain. You know, there always seems to be some kind of a stressor in regards of what can lead to weight gain. It just sounds like that's the way that it comes across, because cortisol and all this other weird shit, if you're too stressed out, if you don't get enough sleep, it's like, man, between the amount of time that I'm supposed to be at the gym and eating right, I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to do with my life, going forward. I don't know. I mean, I try to bike ride all the time now. I mean, it's really become this weird obsession for me, where I have noticed now I'm in between the 15 to 20 mile range daily. And I shouldn't say that because daily sounds wrong. 3 to 4 times a week. Probably more than that. But, it's weird because you start getting these weird obsessions on what you should do. So, I don't know. How do you eat good these days? I'm so lost most of the time in regards of, I just don't get it. But anyways, 32 minutes past the top of the hour. Let's start ranting and raving about some other things that are going on inside of the world because, hey, why would we not do that? This is the Rated R Safety Show, of course.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so as we get into the main story, I take a look around and I go, listen, it's always fun being in this industry. I think that it is. Listen, there is more good than bad, at least the way that I am able to take a look at it. And I'm always amazed on the places that this industry will take you if you allow to go with some of the things that are happening. Because, listen, the industry drives itself. We get to take a look around and what is going on. No doubt about that. We get to take a look at what is going on forward, backwards, and in reverse. And then sometimes you get to go behind the hidden door. You know what I'm talking about? You know how when you're in normal operations, you hear about the things that are going on. But for some reason, if you're in the quote-unquote safety department, you get to see the behind the scenes. And sometimes these behind the scenes are kind of leveled up. And what do I mean when I say leveled up? Well, you have to do some weird things. And when I say weird things, I'm talking about all kinds of fun stuff. I'm talking about maybe, and I'm just saying maybe, you have to, sign a little NDA action in regards of seeing what's behind the scenes. And the interesting part, or the funny part, depending on how you want to look at it, is that we get to do all kinds of fun stuff inside of that. Because think about this. If you're in operations, you know what's going on inside of the op itself, but inside of the safety department, you are shown, seen, photographed, video, things that are not normal, things that are out of the ordinary. And I'm not saying, hey, that's the reason to go in there. But it's interesting on the impact that you have within the organization. And we can sit here and talk about, but operations kind of dominates everything that goes on inside of the org. Safety doesn't have the impact that it should. I want you to think about it. When you have a catastrophic event that occurs inside of your workplace, does everything come to a stop? Like, seriously, does everything come to a stop? Because we have some very interesting things that occur. There is no doubt about it. Because everything freezes. It's a moment, it's a stop, it's a hold in time of what is going on. Think about it for a moment. We have these weird things that occur that the moment that something goes wrong, everything pauses. Everything freezes because everything now reflects around safety. You can look at that from an incident command scenario to the most minute thing inside of an organization. Things do not go forward until safety approves. Like, I always think that it's interesting that in certain states, especially if something happens on the roadway, even if you know that someone has passed, nothing happens until the coroner shows up. And I know that kind of went a little bit morbid there, but I want you to think about it. Everybody where they're at knows what's exactly going on, but you have to wait for the coroner to actually say, okay, yes, they're pronounced dead. And that's the morbid side of it. But it's interesting that sometimes when it comes to the safety department, that's exactly how it works. And things don't move until safety approves. I will steal a line from Sam Goodman. It's the safety fix-it scenario. It's safety will fix it. Safety fix this. Safety fix that. Safety, safety, safety. But it's kind of a weird thing that it only happens during a moment of time. As much as I would love to say that it's not true, but it is true. It seems that at times the safety department needs to know more than the other departments of what's going on because they need to have a general consensus on how to fix almost everything. What do you think about that? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Or is it something that you feel like you're lost in a romance or a wilderness of pain? When was the last time that you were involved, that you saw things that you never thought that you would see inside of your organization because you were in the safety department? Think about it.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
Radio. We are sarcasm. We are both combined. Radio Big.
Well, you know that here at Safety FM and Radio Big, we're always trying to look for life hacks. So with the busy season just around the corner, you might be looking for wholesome, convenient meals for your jam-packed days. Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kits, can help you fuel up with fast chef-prepared, dietitian-approved, and ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door. You'll save time, eat well, and stay on track with your healthy lifestyle. Refresh your healthy habits without missing a beat. Choose from 34 weekly flavored packs. Dietitian-approved meals ready to eat in 2 minutes. All you need to do is head over to factorsmeals.com/safetyfm50 and use code safetyfm50 to get 50% off. That's code safetyfm50 at factormeals.com/safetyfm50 to get 50% off. Go there. Do it now.
Radio Big. USA, Canada, UK.
Hey, are you tired of hanging around and talking about safety in a boring kind of format? Well, I got something for you. If you haven't hung out with us yet at safetyfm.com, I'm going to encourage you to do so. Yeah, if you come out to Safety FM, you can come hang out with all kinds of safety professionals. Some are safety professionals, some are just people that are talking about safety. But we want to do it in a format that makes it fun and entertaining. If you're kind of trying to figure out what the FM portion is, well, we're a radio station and also a podcast network. You can come out, hang out, and listen to my show, The Jay Allen Show. You can listen to Todd Conklin with the pre-accident investigation, Blaine J. Hoffman with the Safety Pro, the Hop Nerd, Sam Goodman, just to name a few on what can be found on the station. Different things for different people, trying to bring safety in an entertaining form. SafetyFM.com. Go to the website, download the app, and carry it with you all day long. SafetyFM.com. We'll be waiting for you.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
Where my soul comes to life and I come alive. Freedom, freedom, freedom for my body, soul, and mind. Freedom, freedom, here at the river where I leave it all behind.
Okay, you are still listening to the Rated R Safety Show, hour number 1 of the Jay Allen in the Morning Show. This is the River Nikki Linotti, also known as Freedom, available on Spotify,
My soul
Apple Music,
is satisfied.
and YouTube Music. When I say YouTube Music, YouTube Music. Yes, YouTube Music. So there you go.
Every time.
So thanks to Nikki Linotti for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show, hour number 1 of the Jay Allen in the Morning Show. Yeah, I always feel like we need some freedom. There is no doubt about that. Some good stuff going on right there. Always going on, always happening. Some freedom needed. So there you go, there you go, there you go. Some stuff happening inside of the world of musica. So let's get into it. Let's talk about it. Let's do everything that we can because it's going to be important to hang out and talk. And listen, if anything, when it's important to hang out and talk, maybe it's the time to talk about the most important thing that I'll ever tell you in my lifetime. And that's about my friends at To Write Love on Her Arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help. To Write Love on Her Arms wants you to know that people have been where you are now and things can get better. healing is possible. Listen, if you go to their website, it's at twloha.com. That's twloha.com. That's To Write Love on Her Arms. Once you get there, they will let you know immediately that you're not alone as long as you go to the far right-hand side and click on the portion that says Find Help. All kinds of information readily available for you right there. Anything related to crisis text line for the U.S., for the U.K., for Ireland, the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, Trans Lifeline, and the Trevor Project. That's just to name a few that are listed on there. Listen, it's hard. It's not easy. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, yes, life is easy for you when it comes to stuff. Listen, I go and talk to somebody all the time. And it's not a bad thing. It's not bad to bounce ideas off of others that are professionals that know what they're talking about. Don't think there's an issue. And it's interesting because I think it's a conversation piece that should happen more and more frequently. People always look at it and go, oh, no, can't do that. I will tell you the greatest broadcaster of all time at one point was talking about that he was talking to somebody 4 days a week. And I'm not talking about the people that listen to his show. So there you go. Some stuff to think about. To Write Love on Our Arms, twloha.com. Click on the section that says Find Help. Seriously. Give it some serious consideration, if any. I'm just telling you what I think. So there you go. Let's talk about some other things because we need to talk about it. Should we talk about this? Yeah, Hairy Girl Winter. Take a listen to this. Hot Girl Summer must be officially over, along with the TikTok creator who has gone out to defend her body hair in empowerment posts and encourage anyone who wants to put down the tweezers and razors and have a hairy winter. 20-year-old Spencer Barbosa has over 9 million followers. She dedicated most of her content to talking about body image, body acceptance, and self-love. And now she has opened up about her body hair, saying the TikTok video that body hair is natural and real and more than acceptable. And while she didn't hold on. And while this shouldn't be news to anyone, Barbosa is reminding people that you should never feel like you have to shave for someone else because it's your body, your choice. And the influencer explained that she grew up feeling like she needed to eliminate body hair to feel attractive. But as she puts it, if you want to have hairy legs, have hairy legs. If you despise hairy hair, you don't want to have hair on your body, remove the hair from your body. She also took time to remind followers that having a body hair isn't unhygienic or masculine. It's just that it grows everywhere. And yes, it keeps you warmer. She's right. You should never have to shave because of someone else. And that's exactly what I'm going to say the next time that my mom gives me crap about my beard. I think my mom would have to talk to me first before she could give me crap about my beard. Don't you agree? Yep.
Duh.
So there you go. Anyway, so some stuff going on right there, that's for sure. So take a listen to this. The backgrounds you choose on your Zoom call can significantly impact the first impression. That's probably not news to you, but here's some surprising things. It turns out that the busier the background, the better. Researchers from Durham University found that those involved in video conference showed that a preference for settings features bookcases and houseplants. Those items were determined to convey a trustworthiness and competence. The team said that we should not only consider displaying books or plans, but backgrounds with video calls. We should also remember to smile. So there you go. You have to have it. You have to have it. You'll need at least two things. Either you have to have books to work or work from books to home. So there you go. Well, I have to admit, I definitely feel more towards the guy who has the impression collection of literature over some dude wearing safari hat and a rainforest behind him. I have to tell you, a few days ago, I got on a Zoom call, and I was actually in this studio. And the person was like, oh, I love your background, because we were talking about their background, and they thought this thing was fake. And I was like, no. That shit ain't fake. All that stuff is real back there. If you're watching on the video, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not, hey, listen, just enjoy the sounds. But yeah, all that background stuff that you see on the video, that ain't fake. I mean, as you can see, I can bring the stuff forward. I always think it's funny that, the studio build out here was not the most enjoyable thing to do, but it happened. So there you go. Anyways, let's talk about this real quick. Should we talk about Fat Bear Week is underway in Alaska? Yeah, take a listen to this from Mark Mayfield.
The annual competition pits bear against bear in Alaska's Brooks River to see who packs on the most weight before winter hibernation. The bracket competition features brown bears bulking up on salmon at Brooks Falls, where a bear cam is set up and all the action is live streamed so viewers can keep track of their favorite bears. About 10 million people check in each year, some as early as June. Fans can vote on their favorite bear all this week. A champion will be crowned October 10th. I'm Mark Mayfield.
You see, I tell people all the time that I get to interact with that there is a market for everything. And people go, no, there's not. Oh, I'm telling you, there is a market for everything. If you can imagine it, there is a market for it. Let's talk about this because I think that this one, let's see. Oh, now the news story vanished the moment I clicked on it. That's pretty good. There is some stuff that is going on. Let me see if I can find it again, because if not, we're going to have to look somewhere else to find out. Oh, it looks like it vanished. Vanished. Anyways, there's all kinds of news story always going on. We already talked about the automated burrito. I don't think anybody wants to hear that stuff again, but definitely some things going on there for sure. Let's talk about this one because, wow, both of the news files that have the same story in it are gone. It looks like there is a fix that came out for the overheating issues for the iPhone that came out yesterday. It's 17.0.3 is the newest update, and it was released immediately fast, supposedly to fix some of the issues that were related to it. So there you go. Take a look at that one. Anyways, take a listen to this. Actress Julia Ormond is suing Harvey Weinstein for sexual battery. Brian Shook reports.
She's also suing Disney, CAA, and Miramax for negligence. The lawsuit filed in New York Supreme Court claims Weinstein sexually assaulted Ormond in 1995 after a business dinner. It goes on to say CAA agents cautioned her that authorities wouldn't believe her, and speaking out about the alleged assault would hurt her career. The complaint also alleges Disney and Miramax knew Weinstein was a danger to women in the workplace and failed to warn Ormond. I'm Brian Shook.
Sorry, I kind of felt like I said that wrong, Ormond. Kind of an interesting one when you start thinking about it, that, hey, the people that you're working with already knew that this was a problem and was like, hey, nobody's going to believe you if you tell anybody. It's kind of a weird thing to say. Oh, yeah, just keep it between yourselves, because no one's going to believe you. Let's see if we can make this a little bit better and see what happens going forward with this thing. Anyways, I have right now some John Smalls waiting in the wing with some Motivation Minute. Take a listen.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by Greg. C.S. Lewis said, "Hardships often prepare ordinary people for an extraordinary destiny." Have you ever met anyone who's never had to worry in their life? I'm not sure I've ever met anyone quite like that. But I know for sure I've met people on the opposite end of the spectrum. I've talked to missionaries who travel going where they believe God is asking them to go. It's amazing that they can do this with absolutely no means. I mean, they're not wealthy, but they are listening and following the direction they feel led to go. There's always a wind that gently guides their sail wherever they're meant to go next. They're not living a rich lifestyle in the eyes of many, but some see things differently, and they see many treasures left in their path. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
The Biden administration is sanctioning more than 24 Chinese people and companies that have ties to fentanyl production. Attorney General Merrick Garland told news reporters that what he called the global supply chain, which ends with the deaths of Americans, often starts with chemical companies in China.
Fentanyl is a nearly invisible poison, and that many people who take it have no idea that they are taking it.
The Justice Department also unsealed indictments charging 8 China-based companies and 12 of their employees with crimes related to fentanyl and with methamphetamine production. A report from the New Jersey State Commission of Investigation is sharply critical of the response by 2 Garden State Veterans Homes to the COVID-19 pandemic. The 2 state-run homes are located in Menlo Park and Paramus. The report notes at least 200 people died in those homes during the pandemic. Health updates, Sarah Lee Kessler, NBC News Radio.
You are listening to a radio god. What? This has to be an error. That host is not a radio god. Anyways, this is the Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Here is another bit for our competitors to copy. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, there you go. A lot of stuff going on. There is no doubt about it. We are running out of time as we are at the 54-minute mark. So let's talk real quick about some things that happened back on this day. As I take a look around, it kind of goes something like this. And the first film with an NC-17 rating hits the theaters back in 1990. Henry and June starred Uma Thurman, Fred Ward, and Maria de Medeiros. It contained lady-on-lady action, which caused the adult rating. It also got an Oscar nomination for cinematography. The NC-17 replaced the X rating, which had become too associated with pornography. So that's why it was. So I will tell you, normally when you get into an NC-17 movie, it becomes limited release. Just kind of the way that it goes. Anyways, let's talk about some birthdays that are going on today. Travis Kelce, oh yes, that guy. He turns 34 today. Nathalia Kelly, 38. Jesse Eisenberg turns 40. Kate Winslet, 48. Scott Winger turns 48. Neil deGrasse Tyson turns 65. Brian Johnson, 76. And Steve Miller turns 80 today. So there you go. There's some birthdays that are going on. No doubt about that. If you're looking at some days of the year to celebrate, well, I have some of those for you. It's National Do Something Nice Day, World Teachers Day, Balloon Around the World Day, National Poetry Day, Country in Bed and Breakfast Day, Global James Bond Day, Bring Your Bible to School Day, and National Get Funky Day. So there you go, some stuff that you can do if you're so inclined to do so. What? I don't know if you want to get funky. It's just some things that happen. So I'm just trying to give you some fair warning on what can happen if you're so inclined. So there you go. With that being said, let's continue moving and grooving with some other things because it's always a fun time as we are talking. So as I take a look around and we're coming close to the end of the show, why don't we do this for you? Why don't we take a look and say, hey, did you know, would you pay nearly $14 a month to use Instagram on your phone without ads? Well, how about $17 for an ad for $17 ad-free Instagram plus Facebook on your desktop? Well, that's what Meta wants to charge Europeans on a monthly subscription if they agree to let the company use their digital activity to target ads, according to proposed social media giants that made to the regulators. The Meta solution for the European Union rules threaten to restrict the ability to show users personalized ads without users' consent, jeopardizing the main source of revenue. No, I wouldn't. I would not pay to stop receiving friends requests from fake profiles or friends that I already have. So no, I would not do that. So there you go. Anyways, if you need a random joke for today, I do have one of those for you. You're officially an adult when you finally buy all 4 tires for your car at the same time. If you need a phone starter for today, try this. What are you interested in that most people just aren't? If you need something for the water cooler, try this. About 1/3 of people are guilty of doing this at least once a week, and it's always done outside. What is it? Running a red light. So there you go. Anyways, thanks to you for hanging out on this lovely morning with me. If you want to, I'll be going over to Radio Big at the top of the hour, doing the things that we get to do over there about the world of music and entertainment. So I would love to see you on that side if you want to do so. If the answer is no, you can hang out here on Safety FM and hang out with the likes of Sheldon Primus as he talks about the world of safety consulting. Yep, that's what he does here. Good old Sheldon Primus. Yep. So there you go. Thank you for hanging out. I know who you are. You are the best part of Safety FM and Radio Big because, we can't do what we do without you. If I can't leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this. Dreaming, after all, is a form of planning. Think about that. I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.